This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. Hello, welcome to the Mocha Minutes Podcast. I am Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't have an earworm for y'all today, mostly because I have a guest, and this guest, I like to talk. We like to talk a lot of stuff. And so the initial reason why I asked her to be here, because one, she is the bookiest of bookworms. She does Bibliolifestyle. She gives you reading material. She has a whole conference. So there's no way, after I watched this movie over the weekend, I could not talk about this movie without her. But I watched I don't know what the heck my neighbors are doing. I just heard a loud bang, but not concerning. Okay, I watched Salem's Lot on HBO Max. It's another adaptation. I think this is the third at this point. So I had to ask my girl, Victoria Wood, a.k.a. Bibliolifestyle, to come here and recap Salem's Lot. Victoria, how are you?
I am so excited to be here. I'm so glad to hear you watched Salem's Lot, and you're absolutely correct. It's the third adaptation.
So this is so funny because we were talking. I'm somebody who reads books, so it's so funny. I'm a person that reads books. They're like people like who see like movies that are adaptations of books. They don't read the book. I'm somebody who literally did the whole Harry Potter series after I watched the Sorcerer's Stone movie. And I'm like, let me read these books, because I'm like, why are these kids going crazy? They're dressing up. They're putting like drawing lightning bolts on their forehead. I'm like, let me see. Harry Potter, like, is YA. I was a whole adult when I did it. I read it. I could see it. I tried with the Sparkly Vampires. I couldn't do it because I didn't care.
I get really that. I tried. I was old for that one too.
And mind you, I'm like, they're like, but you read Harry Potter. I know, right? Ain't that crazy? I'm like, I read that. I finished the whole Left Behind series. I have thoughts about that series and the 3 prequels, and I'm like, girl, y'all go from satellite phones to cell phones in the prequels. I'm like, now see, I need y'all to stop it right now. And y'all try with them movies, shut the hell up. We're not doing this today. I have read Interview with the Vampire, and I tell them, I'm like, y'all would really see how evil Claudia is if you read the book. You would understand why they had to literally burn her alive if you read the book. She's 5. And they're like, wait. I'm like, yeah, no, it's a lot more sinister if you think about a 5-year-old as opposed to a 12 or 13-year-old that they put in the movie.
Yeah.
Another person I really, and also I know you probably remember this, when literally Anne Rice had to take a full-page apology in a newspaper to apologize for Tom Cruise saying that you could not bring Lestat to life.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I'm like, girl. Like, ooh.
That was a whole mess.
It was like, there's a whole mess, because Tom Cruise ate as Lestat. He still does.
Facts.
It's like, he ate. It's like, I don't know why you thought that he can't do this. I'm like, he was like, do you know who the fuck I am? I'm like, yeah, and this is like after Top Gun, Cocktail. This is like after that. Like, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. This is pre-Mission Impossible, but still, it's like, he's fucking Tom Cruise. I'm like, I don't know why you, girl. But then another author is Stephen King. So I've read it, which is why I'm very impressed by the 2 new movies, how close it was to the book. But also, again, like the miniseries did, not putting in, if y'all don't know this, spoiler alert, the gangbang of Bev that's in the movie. And I swear, I'm like, if you were asked what kind of drugs was Stephen King smoking when he wrote that book, all of them. If you Google him, all of the drugs.
Listen, that is something I often say when folks are like, oh my God, how does he come up with this stuff? This is so unnecessary. This is so gruesome. I'm like, this man was high on all kinds of
It's like, what drugs he taking? All the drugs. I think he also was sniffing baking soda, if you can believe
it. Everything that's available. Yeah, he was on.
It's like, because if you read it in the book, it's like, oh, I guess this makes sense. I'm like, yeah, don't bring this to the screen, because my God, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I read it. I have not read The Shining yet. My mother keeps saying, I can't believe you haven't read it yet. You really need to read it. But she also said that book gave her nightmares. I'm like, okay, so then I don't know why you want me to read it. I already read Pet Sematary. That's enough.
Okay? There's so books that will give you nightmares. But I have to say, I love The Shining. I get why people love The Shining. But for me, the Holy Grail, the Stephen King Holy Grail, the book that has absolutely everything in it is The Stand. The Stand.
I haven't read that even. Oh, I gotta watch that. Oh, I gotta read it. Okay. I gotta read it. Oh my gosh.
So, I haven't watched any, to be honest, I try to avoid the adaptations best I can, but I decided this year I am going down the rabbit hole. I am watching the adaptations. I'm sharing my reviews. I'm like, this is something I'm gonna do. So that's why I'm going
to hear your thoughts.
Rabbit hole. But when it comes to Stephen King, as a Stephen King guide, so if you're listening and you've never read Stephen King before, and you're like, I've been meaning to read him, I want to read him, what's a good book to start with? I always recommend this one. The adaptation, Salem's Lot. Yes. Yes, I think it's a great entry point. And I tell folks, this will ease you into Stephen King. It will give you old school Stephen King, and you'll also understand why he does what he does in his more recent books. Because fun fact, Salem's Lot is the second book Stephen King published. Because this man was writing a whole bunch of stuff, but the first book was Carrie. Lots of people know.
I was about to talk about Carrie because I read Carrie too, and God, it's a better book. It's got a book.
Yes, the first one was Carrie, but the second book is Salem's Lot. And Salem's Lot for me is a classic. It's really, it's just amazing. It's a classic vampire story. We will get into it, but again, if you're listening and you're new, pick up Salem's Lot. I think that one is great. If you've read Stephen King and you're like, okay, which is the Stephen King book? Again, look, you know, it's going to vary according to preference, but for me, I take towards The Stand because The Stand has elements of everything that I feel he has been trying to, you know, share and reflect in his work. It's just, it's one of those books. And I actually kind of really got into it with this other author I interviewed for my podcast. He writes thrillers, but he is obsessed with Agatha Christie. He's obsessed with Stephen King. And we had the second he said The Stand, we just started going in on because Peter Swanson is the name of the author. So if anyone reads thrillers, pick up a Peter Swanson book. 8 Perfect Murders is great because he talks about murders that people are doing based on classic murder mystery books. So of course he loves Stephen King, and yeah, we went into everything about The Stand, which now that we've lived through COVID, you might be wondering, man, I was thinking about all of this way back when, because it's a post-apocalyptic kind of story where people get a virus and it's spreading like wildfire. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But I'm telling you, whatever Stephen King was on, those things clearly opened up his mind because he just writes ridiculous stories.
It's kind of like you do, and it works. So it's so funny. I didn't even realize this when I read it because the first Stephen King book I read was actually Carrie. I didn't realize it was his first one. I just picked it up out of the library. So it was like, I didn't realize that was his first one. And then I picked up and read some stories in the Night Shift. And I was like, wait a minute. Children of the Corn is a short story. What? It's like, what? It's a short story. And if you guys have seen the Children of the Corn movie, I'm going to tell you, the sci-fi adaptation is the closest to the story. The couple
Right.
don't make it out. I was like, nope. They're like, oh my God, that's so crazy. That's literally what happened in the story. They're like, really? Oh no, they don't make it out.
Yeah.
They don't make it out. And so if I would have like, so, and it's so funny, like you said, to stand, I'm like, I'm gonna have to add this to my list. But if people ask me like, what Stephen King book like would you pick? I would pick It. And mind you, I'm somebody who fucking hates clowns. Clowns are evil, okay? They're evil, evil demons. And I'm like, It is really like, if you really want to get into it, start with It.
And you know what? It is a great recommendation because I also have a list on my website about 8 must-read Stephen King books. It is in there.
Really? Okay.
In there. Yes, it is in there. I will admit I didn't include The Shining because I felt like most people read The Shining anyway, and because I was including so many old school Stephen King books because here's the thing, this man has written well over 100 books.
Yes.
And when we talk about, you read Carrie, we're going to talk about Salem's Lot. I told you about The Stand. Your mom's telling you about The Shining. Those are all like in the first 10 books he wrote. So these are all 70s books because Salem's Lot is 75, which means Carrie would be 74. The Shining is probably like 3 years later. The Stand is probably 4 years later. So this is all in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna pick the
So it's
Stand.
trippy as hell.
It is. It is. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick The Stand over The Shining, but I'm also gonna pick It because It is great. The other Stephen King I recommend is Misery. I actually watched the movie for that one. So Misery is the author with the lady who has the author trapped in her house, and
Kathy Bates. I think I'm trying to think if she won Oscar or just was nominated. I can't remember now.
Okay, that I don't know, but that
I mean, she ate that. Whew, Lord, Kathy
she
Bates.
did. It was amazing.
So good.
It was so good, but also the book is so good. So those are just some of the books you're going to find. So you're going to find It, you're going to find The Stand, you're going to find Salem's Lot, and you're going to find Misery, which is the name of the one with Kathy Bates. There are other short story collections because that's the other thing. Stephen King is a prolific short story writer. His recent collection, I read a story and I remember just throwing down the book. I was like, ugh. I did not see that coming. His latest collection is You Like It Darker. And it's a collection of stories. Yes, I actually picked up my copy from the grocery store. So if y'all shop, DJs, whatever, you know, the wholesalers, they have it. Grab it. It's easy because unlike a Stephen King novel, because that's the other thing with Stephen King, he's known for those chunky books. It's a lot. It's a big commitment, and I get it. But if you pick a short story collection from him, you can read a story, park it, come back, read another story, park it. So I also recommend if you're short on time, get a short story collection.
I recommend The Night Shift. It's like, go ahead and get that short story. Oh, and Kathy Bates did win an Oscar for Misery.
Oh, she did. Okay, I believe that.
I said, nope, that totally makes sense because my God, is she creepy as hell. So, in the vein of like Stephen King with Carrie is such a better book because one, the bullying of Carrie makes a whole lot more sense in the book because what y'all see with Sissy Spacek is not what she looks like. And it's like, and the thing about it is like, that would make more sense because you look at Sissy Spacek, I'm like, yeah, she is very statuesque. Carrie does not look like that in the book. And if there's at the end, because again, this is the thing about Stephen King adaptations, pacing is always an issue. Because you're like, wait, time out. What the hell? So towards the end, after she gets the pig blood on her and you hear them saying, plug it up, plug it up, plug it up. It never came out literally in the movie. But in the book, it made complete sense because they were literally bullying this girl with tampons and saying, plug it up. And because she did not know like her mother, literally, like the way she is, the best part of the movie is the adaptation of the mother. That's the best part. She's the best part. It's like, oh no, that lady is nuts. It's like,
I haven't read that one, but I find it interesting. Not read. I haven't watched that adaptation, but I find it interesting that there seems to be a common thread because you said it yourself. Pacing with the adaptations tend to be troublesome
Every
because
single one, too. That's the bad part. And that sucks.
yeah, yeah. I personally feel, and this is one of my criticisms of Salem's Lot. So before I
Mm.
get into what they did right, let me just say I feel this should have been. So Salem's Lot is available on what platform is it now?
It's,
Max?
it's Max, yeah.
Yes, it's HBO Max. It's a movie. I wish they had made it a mini
The
series.
miniseries. That's what I also noticed. I was like, wait, wasn't this like a miniseries?
Because another book to screen adaptation I recently recapped on my YouTube channel was Lady in the Lake.
Oh.
I read that book, Lady in the Lake. It's by Laura Lippman. It's set in Baltimore, which I think you appreciate.
Yep.
They actually filmed some of it there, and it's about a Jewish housewife and a Black woman whose worlds kind of collide. The Black woman is allegedly the lady in the lake. She's missing. They assume she's murdered. The Jewish housewife leaves her husband and she starts investigating what happened to this Black woman. Now, this is set in it's set in the 60s.
Ah, fun times.
So that is very important because it was a very rough time to be Black, okay?
Especially in Maryland. Ooh, Lord.
Yeah, and funny, it was also a rough time being Jewish because of all the microaggressions. So obviously their lives can't compare to what it's like for us Black folks. However, I found it interesting how they highlighted microaggressions that both these women face. However, long story short is they gave that show a 7-episode miniseries. It did a good job at adapting, and honestly I even preferred the film's ending to the adaptation as opposed to the book. And I think because I loved our main character, the Black woman in the book. She didn't get in my opinion, she didn't get a good ending in the book. It didn't provide us with closure, but then in the film we got closure. I loved it. It was kind of like she was able to reclaim her own narrative, and it helps that the wonderful person who played the Black woman in the adaptation is Moses Ingram. Moses Ingram did an amazing job. Y'all Google Moses Ingram if you don't know her, because I didn't know her before this adaptation and I was just like smitten. And the Jewish housewife was played by Natalie Portman. So I wish this Stephen King Salem's Lot would have gotten that kind of treatment. Give us 7 episodes, 5 to 7 episodes, and we could do a thing, because I do feel real quick, the film did a great job at giving us those classic horror vampire vibes from the 70s and the 80s. It nailed the atmosphere, but again, the pacing was not there. The character development was non-existent. I mean, the person who was supposed to be the main character was the author, Ben Mears, the guy who returns to Salem's Lot. But in the film, it was the little boy, Mark, who...
When I tell you, he is literally my MVP. He's my favorite part of this whole movie.
Listen, Mark carried the movie on his entire back.
I want to send him some bare back and body, okay? I'm like, I know your back hurt. Hey, let me send you something, because I swear he was literally the best part. And Alfre Woodard is in the movie, and I loved her too. Because her, oh, hell, is like, I'm sorry. That's such a Black lady. I love her so much.
A pleasant change in the film, because in the book, the doctor was actually a man. So I love the fact that we have a woman in the film, and we also have a Black woman as the doctor, because in the book it was a man.
See, stuff. This is what happens when you don't read Salem's Lot. See, when I read it, so one, I also am glad for the theatrical adaptation. They did 2 movies, because I was like, yeah, the first time y'all did it was a miniseries. So I'm like, yeah, y'all better do this in 2 parts, because girl, what the hell? Y'all are not going to be able to do a 2-hour movie in this big, thick-ass book. So I agree with you. Salem's Lot, really, because I think the other adaptations also are miniseries. So it's like at least 3-something hours. So it's like, yeah, I don't think y'all going to cover everything. Because at first I was like, because I didn't read it, so that's the problem. I didn't read the book. So I'm like, wait. Did he used to live in that house? Like, wait, is he part of the Marsons? What's the deal with the Marsons? And then I'm seeing people saying like, yeah, we don't have. Why y'all keep saying this name Marston and y'all not telling us what the hell happened?
Exactly. So, okay, another criticism of the film that I have personally is that we didn't get enough of the house. Now, I'm a person, I love a creepy house, and the Marston house is a creepy house. It has a whole backstory. It has a whole mythology, local folklore about it. So, long story, used to be owned by this nefarious gangster who did some really crazy, dark things in that house. And then the writer, Ben Mears, the one who returns to Salem's Lot, he had a traumatic experience in the house as a child.
What? Wait, we didn't get any of that.
Listen, we got nothing. He also, so his father died. He was living with his aunt. Was it his aunt? Yeah. And he had a traumatic experience there. And then he left. Instead, in the movie, they just told us, oh, his parents died in
and he had to go live with his family.
And he left. And I'm like, nah, that's not exactly it. And they also didn't give us the backstory of the house and why it's so creepy, why no one wanted to purchase it. And then, this is not a spoiler, the vampire Barlow also has a history, like the history of the house is also tied to Barlow. There's a reason why Barlow the vampire wanted to come back to the house.
Are you kidding? I'm gonna get y'all for this.
That was
I'm gonna get y'all to this.
That was the worst part of the adaptation. And by the way, for folks listening, if you read the book or if you watch the show and you want to know what some of the differences are, I did a whole video on YouTube sharing the 10 major differences I picked up on. I will say 2 differences I really enjoyed, which was the ending. The way they chose to end the film in the drive-in movie theater with the action scene with Mark kind of, you know, mowing down the screen and the vampires burning and all that. I liked that. That was action. That was different. Because in the book, the showdown happens in Ben Mears's apartment, the boarding house where he's renting. That's where the showdown happens. Now, me personally, I thought it was going to happen at the house in the film. I was yes, I was so disappointed with not getting more of the house, but I did appreciate the difference in that ending there.
Okay, because and I'm like, part of me is like, do I want to go back and read Salem's Lot? Probably. But for me, my favorite like movie monster is a vampire. So you give me a movie about a vampire, I'm just gonna fucking watch it unless you're fucking glittery. Okay, fuck y'all for that. Okay. F y'all, like y'all eating deers and shit, y'all glittering in the sunlight. I'm like, girl, what is this? First of all, what is this? I'm sorry. That makes me mad. Fuck them glittery vampires, okay? Fuck them. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's my little, like, I don't know what's my little Nike shoebox, but yeah. Other than them glittery vampires, even though I kind of like the werewolves because that's my second favorite one. So you get, which is why I'm like Justice for the Underworld series. I don't like the fact that we don't have like a complete conclusion to this, so F y'all for that. Also, Kate Beckinsale, do not, fuck the director while your man is playing opposite you. So now we done fucked up the thing. Y'all can look that up too.
I'm dead.
It's like, yeah, girl, no, you can't. Girl, you done fucked up the thing. What the hell?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. All right. So because you've read the book, I enjoyed the movie, but it's like, I didn't read the book and I'm alone like, okay, so part of this don't make no sense. Like, I'm sorry, what the hell is going on here? So I didn't even read it. But because you read it, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being The Dark Tower and 5 being the film adaptation of it, where does Salem's Lot fall?
You know what? Okay, so this is really tough. I will start off by saying, if you are listening and you haven't read the book, but you're looking for a classic 70s, 80s vampire horror movie to watch on a weekend, pop some popcorn, get comfy, I would say watch it. I would highly recommend you watch it. I think it's great. If you read the book, however, and
Yeah.
you're like, let me go watch this adaptation, it's never going to live up to your expectations.
Mm.
Now, I watched this film with my husband,
Mm.
and he is a tough movie critic.
Mm.
Me, I'm not so much, but he
Mm-hmm.
is very specific. I'm like, okay, I'm the book blog girl. He should
Mm-hmm.
be a movie blog kind of guy, but he isn't on the
Did he
internet. But
read the book too?
he did not.
Okay.
So
Oh,
his
okay.
review, so
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, I haven't shared this anywhere else. His
Woohoo.
review is that this is a classic Stephen King, but classic vampire horror done well.
Mm.
It's not exceptional, but it was
Mm-hmm.
done well, and he
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it for what it is. Me
Okay.
as a book person, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I enjoyed it. I would actually give this a 3.
Okay. Okay.
But it didn't give us the backstory on the house. It doesn't
Yeah.
give you the backstory on the character. So you're missing a lot of that. But again, if you haven't watched it and you're just looking for something easy breezy to watch, it's an easy watch. So I would recommend people still watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that in the next 20 years, God willing, I can watch a series adaptation when they decide to do a remake.
Mm.
Because
Yes.
I think the
Yeah.
last remake was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
I
20
think that's
years.
the one with Rob Lowe. Because we were like, what about the Rob Lowe? I'm like, oh, that's right. He sure was in this. And I think that was a miniseries. So, yeah, I haven't watched that.
And the 1979 film, so the book came out 75. They did something in 79. It was a two-parter.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
also
was,
on Max, too. They have that one. But not the
yes.
Rob Lowe one. So, I don't know where that is.
No, I don't know where that is, and I haven't watched that. But if you want, you can watch the 79 and then you can
Mm-hmm.
watch the present day. But you can skip 79 and just watch now. I think it's fun. It's classic
It
vampire,
is
and it's a
vampire.
good weekend escape
Mm.
because there's
Yeah.
been a drought of things to watch on TV,
That's
although I
very
know we're
true.
going to get into the housewives.
Yes, we are.
And that has been a flood. It's like we went through a drought and then now we
Mm.
have a flood. But I give it a 3. I give it a 3.
Yeah, because and somebody who didn't read, because I agree with your husband. It is very much fun because it was like, oh, this is
Yes.
kind of cute. This is kind of cute. I'm like, I can poke holes as everyone can on any adaptation of a Stephen King novel. It's like you can poke hole. Even though I loved both parts of it, mind you, this is how much I hate fucking clowns. I have not watched it since I went to go see it in the movie theater. I've not watched it. I can literally watch it anytime. I'm like, I'm sorry, no, fuck this. That's how good. And Tim Curry's voice, the guy who plays, I think his last name is Skarsgård. He's one of the Skarsgårds. He is an amazing Pennywise. He really is. He's scared. He don't have the voice that Tim Curry has. Has. But he's an amazing Pennywise. He scared the bejesus out of me, which is why I have never watched it since I went to the movie and see it. But it's like, so it's like you can poke. Yeah, I can poke holes in it, and it's still like amazing. So I get it. But it's like
Yeah.
if you love it's spooky season, watch Salem's Lot. It's actually kind of good because you will fall in love with Mark Petrie like we did. Because I tell you, this little boy is like, and shout out to everybody who watched Game of Thrones. You can watch Euron Greyjoy get his comeuppance. So yeah.
I am dead. And yes, shout out to Mark. He carried this entire show on his back.
He did.
He was
did.
great. I loved his fearlessness, whereas the adults were just kind of like scrambling. I
was
love
like,
how
he's like 11 and 3/4. I said, this man literally bludgeoned somebody. He's like, aren't you like 11 and 3/4?
listen, my part was near the end when Ben was saying, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No, I'm not."
I know I'm not okay.
I'm just like, he is such an adult, and in a weird way,
So-
it gave Ben permission to say, "Yeah, no, I'm not okay."
Yeah. So, Victoria, I looked at the guy who plays Ben Mears. I'm looking like, why does he look familiar? And I figured it out when I Googled it. That's Bill
What's he
Pullman. That's Bill Pullman's son.
Oh,
And now I can't unsee it. I'm like, why does he? Is he? Really?
Okay.
Oh, he sure is. That is Bill Pullman. I'm like, cause he looks like him.
I didn't know that.
And I was like,
Wow.
and I'm like, I get it. We can have conversations about nepo babies. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
I get it, but I could not be an actor over a certain amount of time and think if my kid wants to do it, I'm not going to help them get it.
True.
Or just literally, like, you have my last name, and they're like, okay, we're going to put you in there because that means your dad might come to the set and we could talk to him and maybe get him to work on another project. See how that worked? I'm like, I get the discussion about Nepo babies, but I also be like, yeah, I couldn't have like 3 Oscars and my kids not be in a movie.
Listen, I get it. It's look, think of it this way, the same way how we've all come up, and if you have your own children or you take care of people or you just want to see people do well, you're going to do everything you can to help them. That's the same thing. Except these people are in a whole different bracket with a whole bunch more
And also because
opportunities.
we a bunch of black people, so we know we don't get these opportunities. So if you think my kid, I am literally, I'm Angela Bassett and I did the thing. You think my kid is not going to come on a fucking set? Y'all have lost your minds.
That part.
Because we black, so we know it's like, yeah, it's like we focus, like, yeah, don't lump in the black Nepo babies, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, the fact that Denzel Washington's son was like, he only really talks about Pauletta, and he's doing that for a reason. One, because he knows his mother badass, but he also knows what that means. And he literally sounds like Denzel Washington. Close your eyes, it's like, wait, who the hell is talking?
Okay, not to go completely left, but it's kind of the equivalent of folks dragging LeBron's son.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, if I'm still well enough to play basketball, and my child is old enough to play, you think I'm not going to create this extremely lightning in the bottle moment? Y'all are crazy to me. That was always crazy to me. I'm like, one, he can still play, and his child is able to play. You don't think Michael Jordan want to play with his kid?
If Marcus could, yes.
Hello? Like, and I think Marcus did actually play, but I don't think he ever played with his dad. It's like, hello? Even though Kobe only had girls, you don't think he would have found out a way to have a co-ed team and play with his kids? Stop playing with us. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Lisa Leslie will play with her kids. Like, I'm like, you're well enough to play. LeBron is still top tier at this age. And mind you, I think I'm still older than him by like a day. But still, he can still. No, I'm like, I'm not going to do this Nepo baby thing. I'm like, can we?
Nope.
Not saying we're just partial on the white ones, but it's like, yeah, I feel like for the black, like, and the black people, we get less chances. So we have to be the ones to push ourselves forward. If we wait for everybody else, we'll be waiting until forever.
Exactly. So black and brown people, we need the pass.
No, I don't want head. I'm like, nope. I ain't talking. I'm like, nope.
Nope.
What? Nope. I don't want head. So Mark is literally our MVP. And the fact, I was like, I was not expecting this. I'm like, why is little black boy that I'm like, I need to protect him at all costs. Protect him at all costs. So this was a pacing issue for me, and you can explain it from the book. Father Callahan. See, this was my issue. Why? It was like his faith is so. I'm sorry. And the guy and Barlow's scared to crap. He's like, "Are you?" I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like, I already knew he was dead when he said, "Are you?" I'm like, "Oh fuck." Just like damn.
No. Okay.
I really wanted to know why is his facial shaking and why is he drinking all the time? Because it's like y'all didn't explain that at all.
I know Father Callahan has issues, no question about it. But I will say, the film did Father Callahan right, but they also did Father Callahan dirty at the same time.
Okay.
So let me tell you how they did him dirty. How they did him dirty was how he died at the hands of Barlow. I mean, come on.
Wait, that wasn't what happened?
No, that did not happen in the book. So my thing is, I would have been okay with us seeing and knowing how Father Callahan died, because in the book, we know he got tainted by Barlow. However, he left town. So we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what happens to him. So we don't have definitive answers. So that's number one. So in the film, we see how he dies. He dies at the hands of Barlow. And in my opinion, I was like, okay, at least now we have a definitive answer as to how he dies. I just personally didn't like him going out like that, because even though he is troubled and, you know, he's drinking and all, he is, you know, he's helpful. He's trying to be a good person. It's also the same thing with Mark and Danny. So remember, Mark is at the school. He makes friends with Danny.
Right.
Danny's little brother is the first person who gets nabbed and was the sacrifice in the film.
Right.
What is different in the book is Mark and Danny kind of running into each other multiple times in the film. That did not happen in the book. They had one encounter and then Danny ran off and we never saw Danny again. So that's another change. I personally liked, because it just worked good on screen, seeing, because to me it kind of built up Mark's character. I'm like, he realizes his friend is a vampire. He knows this has to be torture. He wants to free his friend and let his friend rest in peace. So I liked seeing where obviously Danny's a vampire trying to, lure Mark and turn him as well. But Mark, at the same time, not even thinking about his own safety, he's just focusing on freeing his friend. Yeah. So I kind of liked seeing that come full circle.
Yeah.
With Mark. I thought it was a strong scene, but that did not happen in the book. It did not happen.
Okay, it did not. Because I thought it was actually a strong scene, because I was like, he did promise him. He said, I'm going to set you free. I promised. And I was like, I kind of liked it. I liked the little kid.
I loved it.
So I don't know why I like kid vampires. I don't know, except for the fucking sparkly ones. But I like kids that are vampires. I don't know why it is. I truly just enjoy them. And these kids, like, I truly enjoyed. I just kind of also wish we saw more of Ralph. I'm like, wait a minute, Ralph? I'm like, wait a minute, how come we're only really seeing Danny, but we didn't really see Ralph, and Ralph was the first. I'm like, why are we not seeing him?
That I also found interesting.
It was like Danny is everywhere, but Ralph was the first, so you would think that we would see him more. And I kind of wanted to see Danny's mama get killed. I don't know why, because I'm like,
whose father get killed?
Danny's mother. Because it's like, here it is, y'all gonna go find her in the mortuary. I'm like, so we're not showing. Okay.
Oh, and that's another thing. Agree, but also another thing is Susan's mother. Who becomes Barlow's servant at the end.
That was I missed that the first time I watched it. I'm like, how the hell did he get to... Oh, when I rewatched it before we recorded, I said, that's when she talked to Strick. I'm like, what the hell? How did we get from here 8 to 75? Yes. Like, what?
And the thing is, we needed a replacement when Straker died. Now, here's the thing. She, in her dislike for Ben, that was consistent with the book. She really didn't like him in the book. However, who we don't see at all in the movie, because in the movie they killed him before the show even started, was Susan's father. He kind of liked Ben.
Wait, he was a part of the... Oh, see, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, we never had that in the movie, but...
Because she, like she said, he died the year before.
Correct. But in the book, we actually have him, and he was more the person who was kind of open to Ben and kind of liking Ben and so on, whereas the mom was always skeptical. I found it interesting they made the mom a servant in the movie, which again, look, I'm not mad at, because I love that action scene at the end. And by the way, her killing the doctor lady, that was not how the doctor had died in the book. That was different. But again, I also appreciated
that helped the pacing, honestly, because I'm like, I was not expecting that.
I know. It kind of happened so fast.
I was like, wow, like, this actually does help from an action perspective. I wanted everyone to be the final girl. And I'm like, she's not.
The ending is also interesting because we see Ben and Mark in the car kind of like, okay, we get out of jail card, let's leave town. In the book, they left, but they returned to Salem a year later, which is when they burned the entire town down. That's how they killed the rest of the vampires. Yeah. So we had more of an epilogue, whereas with this one, we had closure. However, someone said to me online when I shared my review, they're wondering if this opens it up to a part 2. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Because there is a return from Salem's Lot. That's on Max too. And apparently there's a short story that comes back to Salem's Lot. Because I was like, wait, I got confused because they were like, it's a book called Salem's Lot, and then there's a short story called Salem's Lot, and something else. And it was like, but it's a Salem's Lot, the 1970s one, and then it says a return to Salem's Lot. So I think that's what you're talking about when they're coming back to the town to burn it down. and I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
watch
yeah.
it.
But here's the thing, Stephen King has written multiple books and multiple
Mm-hmm.
short stories
Mm-hmm.
set in Jerusalem's Lot. And by the way, Jerusalem's Lot is the name of the town. But if
Mm-hmm.
you spell Jerusalem, Salem is at the end. So people just
Yeah.
call it Salem's Lot for short. So
Yeah.
if folks are listening, you might be like, I'm a
They're
bit
like,
confused.
what? It's like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, I'm
Jerusalem's
trying to think,
Lot.
which town is worse, Jerusalem's Lot or Derry? Because it's like, Lord have mercy.
Ooh, okay, now Derry is very
Derry
interesting.
is, woo! Because I remember my mother was talking about the books, and she said, she's like, the books seem so different after he blew up Derry. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean he blew it up? She's like, he's like, he blew up Derry in one of the books, and then all the books after that seem so weird. I'm like, oh.
Lots of books refer to Derry. I mean, even Misery that I love, Pet
Mm-hmm.
Cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
what's it, the It, there's
Mm-hmm.
just lots of things. That's the thing I love with Stephen King is that he creates these towns and these worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and lots of books are set there. So it feels familiar, but then it's
Mm-hmm.
also different. But the thing with Derry specifically was created based off his hometown of Bangor, Maine.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Wow. Because yeah, he
Last year, my
stays with
husband and I,
Maine. I'm like, New England is like, let me tell y'all something. It is horrible. It is terror in New England. I'm like, really, Steve? Okay. I don't want to go to New England because Maine. They got killer clowns, and they have Indian burial grounds. They got a lot going on up there. No, don't go up there. Don't go up there. They got vampires. We're not going to Maine.
went to Maine last year for the first time. Loved it. I loved it. I will tell you,
It is
yes,
beautiful though.
it's
Now I want a lobster
beautiful.
roll.
Love the food, beautiful, love the state park, love the coastal towns, love the
Mm-hmm.
inland towns. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely lots of land, definitely lots of small towns.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. It's like your brain has so much room for fodder. And what I appreciated with him, he still lived there, he
Yeah.
never left. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he based lots of his books up there, so I kind of get it. And yeah, it's interesting
And I think
being
it's
there after
smart.
reading.
Yeah, and
What?
being able to read, I think it's smart because it's kind of like it helps because you know how some writers they do research, so it's kind of like they research the places where they're like going to set their stories, and it's like, well, this is actually kind of smart because I live here, so it's like I can base this.
Exactly.
It's like I'm like I could do research, but I don't have to do too much. That actually is pretty genius.
Yeah, and I think again, it kind of goes back to even some classic authors back in the day used to do this, where they create their worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and then from that they just keep revisiting it, and most of them
Yeah,
are based on towns and places they grew up in,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I like it. So, but anyways, you guys watch the
I
film.
absolutely watch it.
Watch it. It's a good Spooktober watch or fall watch,
It
and
is a good spooky season movie. It really is. We could sit here and poke holes, like, but you can poke holes in everything.
you
It's like,
can. You
but
can.
I
So I
was
say
still.
go watch it,
Hmm.
read the book after, and then come
Hmm.
back and let us talk about it.
Yeah. Cause one more thing. This is the last thing, and then we're gonna go to Bravo High Notes. The rabies shot thing got me. I'm like, time out.
Yes.
You can get a rabies shot and it'll stop you from being a vampire. She's like, get my bag. Wait, time out, ma'am. You 30 minutes ago did not think vampires real. Now you're like, give me a rabies shot. I'm like, wait, time out. This works.
I know. That was also surprising and fun. And also the scene when Ben brought Susan there. Obviously, she's had the venom in her way longer, and she was reacting to the church.
Right.
I
I
mean,
was like, oh my, and the glowing, I love the, so
I love the glowing crosses.
the glowing
I love
crosses were so much fun. I loved this. Yeah, the whole "are you" and the glow going out. I'm like, girl, what is this? I'm like, I
love
can.
it. That's what I'm
I
saying. Like,
love the glowing crosses were like fantastic.
if you love classic vampire stuff with the crosses, the
I
holy
just love.
water, the glowing eyes, the vampire kids hovering, I mean,
I love it.
it's so classically beautifully done. It really
It
is.
really is. And shout out to Mr. Burke, which I'm like, I kind of loved it, and it was just like when he said, "I revoke your invitation." I'm like, "What in the true blood is happening right now?" I'm like, "I love it." I'm like, "I love this." I love because I was like, "When is someone going to talk about the that I don't invite you in? When is somebody going to do it?" I'm waiting. I'm like, "It's happening! I need these kind of things." I love it. So it's like, I'm like, we're sitting here like, blah, 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 Swiss cheesing this up, but yeah, we're putting it back together because I'm like, we could say all that. I'm like, you should still watch it.
They'll watch it.
Kind of fun. You'll see 11-year-old and 3/4 murder people. It's great.
You see him being the adult when the adults don't want an adult.
This man literally put up a tire and smashed Euron Greyjoy's face in. I'm like, girl, that's right. That's right. You earned this, Greyjoy. You earned this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all earned it. Okay. So let's talk about some Bravo high notes. We went from having 0 housewives for a couple of weeks, and they like made sure to let us know that there's no housewives on, to literally like 4 at the same damn time. I'm like, okay, all right.
It's a bit much, and I think we're going to have 5 because we have Orange County, which, full disclosure, I am not watching. We have New York. We have Potomac. We have Salt Lake City. And then Beverly Hills is coming.
That's right. I haven't seen the trailer yet, so it sounds like they're going to either be November or December. Because they say coming soon. And and the thing about it is like they like to give like a huge push. So usually they drop the trailer a good 3 or 4 weeks before the premiere to get everybody riled up. They've already said coming soon. I'm like, oh, I guess the trailer's going to be coming maybe before Halloween. Who knows? I'm like, who knows? I'm like, it sounds like maybe either November or I would say maybe December. But who knows? They might be like, oh, it's the holiday season. Let's wait until January. Who knows? So it's like, yeah, that's way too much for me. I'm glad. So you're not watching Orange County. I'm going to tell everybody this is my mood. Shannon Storm's Bador is better than me because when I tell you, Alexis Bellino is a walking read. I wish that tall Jesus Jugs would talk to me crazy. And y'all talking about this thing like, oh, she didn't have to say it to Alexis. Oh, no, she didn't, because I'd have been like, dear Alexis, and bitch, you thought news. No, you're not invited to this fucking trip. Have a good time here back in Orange County. Peace out. Storms out. How about that? See, that's the thing. Shannon was being nice to your ass. Why? After you walked into this season going, there's a door, Bador. I'm like, and you expected her to invite you to London, England, across the pond, on a plane. Bitch, fuck you. And Tamara, you can go. Yeah, there's the door, Tamara. Because Tamara is trying it. Because you will say what you want about Shannon, Jennifer, the dog, your least favorite neighbor. But the minute somebody bring up you and the fact that your child still ain't talking to your ass, this is too mean. Shannon is better than me. Because the minute she brings up my drinking, and she's like, oh, girl, I crashed my whole car into a building and my kids still talk to me. What's your excuse? See how that works?
So, I am not watching, but I've seen the clips, and it seems like the fans are really rallying around Shannon. I thought it was going to be bad for Shannon this year.
So did I, and I was like, I was gearing up for Shannon last year, and I'm like, this is Shannon's year. This is Shannon's season. This is her redemption season. And I think what has helped me is because she is not doing what the Grand Dame, we'll get to Potomac, is doing. She ain't deflecting to somebody else saying, look over there. She's like, this is what I did. This is what happened. Literally. So you see her having scenes where her daughter's talking about it, and they're like, Mom, you made a mistake. We still love you. Tamara, this woman crashed a whole car into a building and her children talk to her. See, that's the thing. I would not care. It's like, cry, because I'm going to keep going, Tamara. Tamara has been doing this for way too long. And I'm like, oh no, Shannon, if you need to phone a friend, please call me. Because fuck her feelings. Because you don't care about Jennifer's feelings. You don't care about Ryan. And she's like, why would Ryan say this about me? Because you said a whole lot about Ryan last year and he didn't say nothing until after the season was over. You lucky that's all he said. And everybody's been talking about that you are Eddie's beard for literally 10 years. Why are you acting like this is brand new? Everybody been saying that about Eddie. Eddie Spaghetti, okay? Everybody saying it. You are Eddie's beard, and everybody said that shit. They've been saying it for years. Allegedly.
Ooh.
So let's not do this and act like Ryan is doing something different. Girl, you said a whole lot. You had a whole podcast to talk about Ryan. You have done little interviews. The minute somebody say something back to your ass, you mad. The minute that Victoria Gunvalson, Lord have mercy, the villain, original, the OG of the OC, but she is a villain. I ain't gonna hold you. The minute she say one thing like, girl, at least my kids talk to me. You crying on Instagram. That is just a lot, Vicky. What? You have been calling Shannon an alcoholic for literally like 3 months. Shut up. He's like, we're not doing this. So yeah, I can't wait for this reunion because also, Emily, redemption season for me. Gina need to get her ass handed to her by Jennifer. Period. Ooh. It's like, no. Katie, stand the fuck down from Fancy Pants because one, Katie, it don't matter if you told Gina. You still fucking said it. You should have never said it to these bitches. Period. You should have never told them that. Because some of them pretend to be Heather's friend and some of them actually play one on TV. But you should have never said that and you should have just owned your part of it. She's like, it don't matter that you told Gina. You still opened your dick suckers and told this whole group that, hey, I know somebody from TMZ and she staged this thing at Disney World. I'm like, who stages paparazzi at Disney World? That sounds very stupid. But also, Gina, you said to her, if you don't tell her, I'ma tell her. And then said, why would you tell her? Because you literally told her, if you don't tell her, I'm going to tell her. Why are we acting like she didn't say that? I'm like, I'm sorry, is my television on something else? Because she literally said that to her. So I will tell you, Victoria, this is the tail end of the season. Hopefully we're getting a reunion in November. It sounds like November, December. Because, God,
okay.
get this fucking show off my screen. Because if Shannon do not hold Alexis her ass, Alexis, you came in here going, you just jealous because I had my man. No, bitch, I don't like you because you and your ex-husband decided to sue me and I had to pay y'all. By the way, Jim and Alexis also sued Tamara. Why are you her friend? Why are you acting like Shannon is acting so silly? And also, John Jansen is a fucking scammer. He's full of shit. He didn't like this was never about any money. She's like, I'm gonna give you your money, but you're gonna sign this thing. You can't talk about me. Oh, then I don't want the money. This is not about the money then. She's like talking about me and I want to say my piece. Mr. I'm very private. Literally, still remember the scene where Shannon was like, oh my God, take this out. John's gonna be so mad at me. I can't say this. That's the person that you're talking about. John Jansen, fuck you. Alexis, you and your Jesus jugs, you and John can literally go to hell. Get on the bus and go to hell. I'm tired of you two. For real. It's like, oh hell no. It's like, Alexis don't need to come back. You kicking out people out of your house. It's like, girl, you mad that Shannon was like, you have been literally talking sideways to her. And the minute she say, hey, I got your peace offering. Yeah, you're not invited. And you're mad. Oh my God, I sent her a plant. You could have sent me that plant from literally Eden and I still be like, girl, you're not coming.
Ooh.
It's like, what did you expect? And y'all surprised. And you kicking Katie and Jennifer out. They're like, why we get kicked out? I'm like, I don't know, girl. Why'd you get kicked out? I don't know what to say. But yeah, she kicked y'all out. Because it's like, oh my God, this is so unfair. Your man is the one who is fighting this. Why are you acting like Shannon bringing this up? No, bitch, you all. You and your Jesus jugs are on the screen. Shut up. Anyway, all right. Off of Vaughn County. Tell me about Roni.
Oh my gosh. I am watching Roni. And okay, let me run down the list if I can remember. Actually, let me Google Roni cast. Yes. Okay, top of the list is Psy. I know people weren't liking Psy last year, but you know what? I didn't mind Psy. I didn't mind Psy at all. So Psy saw herself on the show. She came back. She's therapized. She's chill. But I love seeing that she would at least be willing to, call someone out if she needs to. And I appreciated that. So you know what, Psy? Be your fabulous New York self, that's super
Mm-hmm.
unfiltered, because we need that on the
Yep.
show. We really do. And you might have, seen yourself as a villain. Thing is, we do need one. And you're the only person who's going to say what's really on your mind. So
Correct.
that's Sai.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up the list. So let's see. Erin Leachy. Erin is too aware of the cameras. I did not like that scene with her and her husband saying
Nope.
whatever. It would have been a throwaway comment had she not made a big deal about it. I was just like, girl, come on.
Right.
She's trying to curate her image. And I think that's my overall critique of all the New York women
Mm.
is that they're so hyper aware. I don't think they're going to give of themselves, and we're just not going to get that. But I was very annoyed with Erin and how her husband, that scene, I did not like it. Jenna Lyons. Jenna learned a thing or two after looking at last
She
season.
did.
She came back different. I don't think it's a good thing at all, because now it seems like she's stirring the pot. She's calling this one and telling that one, and she's kind of figuring how things are working. I'm interested to see how much more she gets in the mess, but that's what I got so far. Jessel is clearly feeling herself. She heard everything everyone had to say. Oh my God, Jessel, you're it, you're the moment, blah, blah, blah. She's feeling herself.
She is.
Uber, I love Uber. Uber clearly, she cares about her relationship and her life. And again, she has a lot she's trying to protect. But again, I don't think that makes her a good housewife. But I'm interested in learning more about Uber and Erin's relationship, because I
Same.
find that duo interesting. So I want to hear about that. Bryn Whitfield. I read Bryn from last year. I did. I saw Bryn.
I remember. You were like,
Something about that girl. I saw her for who she
kept,
was.
and you kept saying it too. You're like, I don't know what it is about Brent. I don't know what it is about her. I don't know what it is about her.
So here's what I will say to folks about Bryn. If y'all watched last year's reunion, you saw Sai apologize to Bryn.
Correct.
They played a flashback in the first episode. Bryn said, I'm good. I don't need another friend. I have 1,000 friends and all of that. This is my take. I think Bryn saw the fans' reaction to Sai. They didn't like Sai. Sai was a villain. And I think she made a calculated decision to cut off Sai. She did like Jenna Lyons. She also saw that fans were, kind of empathetic to Jenna, because you could tell she was like a fish out of water last year. And she latched herself onto Jenna. With that said, I do think Jenna has a blind spot for Bryn, because of just how flirty and cute and whatever Bryn is.
She literally spent the whole last season kissing her ass, so I can understand why she has so much.
She has a blind spot there. But going back to the relationship with Sai, she has 1,000 friends. She don't need friends. So my question is this, Bryn. If you have 1,000 friends, why did you have to call your brother from all the way from, where did he come from? Korea, to come film for a month, when the man clearly does not want to live in New York City again? And if you've been to Korea, you definitely are not moving back to New York City. And moving back to New York City is hella expensive.
Correct.
So the reason this man is here is so that you have someone you can film with. My question is, where are all those thousands of friends you have? Question mark. And then the second red flag, if y'all don't believe me that there's something wrong with Bryn, when she was at her very own party, and I've seen this with Bryn, I think last year as well, when she was busy chatting up Erin's husband, and I think there was another dude there, and, being her flirty self. I noticed again at the premiere party that she was hosting, she wasn't spending most of the time with the girls. She was with the guys. And I'm going to tell you something right now. My take on Bryn is she's not a girl's girl.
She's not.
She is a flirty flirt who hangs out with the guys. She's a guy's girl. She's not a girl's girl. And for that reason, she is not in tune with her girlfriends. And the final thing with Bryn is she's a liar. She embellishes. She uses the flirty, ditzy kind of personality. And the truth is, we really don't get much substance from her. Yes, we got her backstory. I get it. She had a traumatic childhood. There was trouble with her mom and her dad. She grew up with her grandmother. She's best friends with her brother. I get it. But Bryn, you still haven't answered the question on what do you do for a living? Do I think you are a Jen Shah? No. Absolutely. Do I believe you are a working professional girl? Absolutely. Then why not just be plain and upfront with us and be like, this is what I do, or this is what I used to do, but now I'm only working part-time, or I'm only doing consultations, or whatever. The thing with her, she's chosen to play this ditzy, light, bubbly, giggly. I think she's trying to be a Sonia. And to be quite honest with you, I think Sonia's opening up her legs more than Bryn is. Bryn ain't fooling me. Sonia's having a good time out there in these streets. I don't think Bryn is.
She fuck people in closets, okay?
Listen, and I don't think Bryn is that person. I think what we get on the show is a facade. I truly believe it's a facade. Am I interested in seeing where this season goes? Yes. Do I think, this group has a long-lasting formula as they are? No, because they're too hyper-aware. They're not willing to crack themselves open. I just think they're not willing to let it hang the way Salt Lake women are willing to let it hang. And I know we're going to chat about them, but I do think there's a reason why we're getting crazy reality shows out of Utah. I mean, even Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They're just willing to crack themselves open and just let it hang. Where the New Yorkers, and dare I say, folks on the East Coast, they're a bit more buttoned up. I really believe they're a bit more buttoned up. They're not willing to let it hang. It's the same thing with Potomac. We're not getting real storylines, but I am interested in the new housewife, the biker girl. She seems interesting.
Which women? Are you talking about on Roni? Yeah, I agree. Let me tell you something. Okay. Here's my thing. The way you feel about Bryn is the way I feel about Aaron. Because here's the thing. That whole thing about, even though I feel like Bryn embellished what she said, I think Aaron actually did say that. I'm like, Aaron, you can't be the mean girl that you were all last season and think that I don't think that you said that. I'm like, oh no, girl, I think you said it. I think you maybe were joking, but there was truth in jest.
There is truth in jest. Listen, I think Aaron said, and she had me calling her. No, let me backtrack. I offered to get her an Uber, but here's my thing, okay, on etiquette. I would not offer to get someone an Uber if I wasn't going to pay for it. If I
offer, it's like, girl, it's like, please, I gotta pay for this Uber. I'm like, Aaron, you're rich. Shut up.
That's the other thing. My thing is, if I offer to get you an Uber, I'm not expecting you to pay me back.
I'm gonna get you an Uber.
If you are at my house and you are sane and your car broke down and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll get you an Uber so you can get where you need to go.
Yeah.
I am paying for it. If I don't intend to pay for your ride or have anything to do with it, I ain't saying anything. I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I would have asked you if you called your Uber yet.
I'd be like, what are you going to do? Do you have someone you can call? Are you going to do whatever? Do you want to call a car service? Right. I would ask you what you're going to do. But if I offer to get you an Uber, then I'm getting you an Uber and I'm paying for it.
And that's
also, Erin, if you're rich, why? But again, I do understand catty girl talk. You're like, oh my God, Jenna came to our house and her car broke down. And I offered to get her an Uber and she didn't even pay me back. But then I wouldn't say that because I offered to get her an Uber.
Correct.
So it would have just been like, oh my God, Jenna came to my house and her car broke down. It was just a whole mess. And I would have ended it there. It was a whole mess because, again, I offered. So, I mean, folks are listening. Let Stephanie know. Let me know. But if you offer to do something for someone, doesn't that imply you pay? Because my thing is, if I call my girlfriend out of her house and I'm like, hey, girl, let's go meet up for some drinks.
Right.
I am paying because I called you out of your house. It is different if I say to you, I'd love for us to get together, let's make a plan. That's what I'm saying. We're adults. Make your intentions clear. If you expected her to pay you back, and I saw on Watch What Happens Live, and I think Andy, or it was the guest, asked her if she had paid her back, and she was like, no. Because I'm also
when I tell you what she said for what? I said, ooh!
But that's what I'm saying. I get it. I get it.
Are you
Be
kidding
like,
me
you
right
offered
now? It's like,
the reunion, I would have been like, but you offered to get me an Uber. Why would you offer
why
something
you
that you're not
offer
willing to
and
pay
then
for?
go? I'm like, oh my
Etiquette?
god, right,
Jenna Lyons, use etiquette. Okay, if you're listening, use
right.
etiquette.
It was just like, let me tell you. I was like, yeah. I'm like, Bryn can. She's the ASAP of the group, but I really do think Aaron said that. Is it the way that Bryn said it? No. Did she say it? Probably. And the thing, I'm going to see if reformed Psy is really here, or just like, let me control what I'm doing because y'all hated me last season. I'm like, yeah, but see, we like authenticity, and that's the problem. Authentically, you're a bitch.
And I
So
love
it's
it.
like,
And
okay,
I love it.
girl. And I didn't hate Psy. I'm like, I see why people did like it. I'm like, she's pretty straightforward. That's what it is. Because I really want to see how it got to Uba and Bryn can be in the same room, because I think Bryn is under this impression that Uba will literally not punch her in the face. You're under this impression this woman is after a certain age and she ain't gonna beat your ass. It's like, oh, that's what you're.
Well,
I could do this. I could do this because no one's gonna actually get physically aggressive with me.
well, do you
Oh, girl.
I think, if my memory serves me right, I think Bryn used some triggering words with Uber last year. Or was it Erin?
Mm-hmm.
About being aggressive. Both of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wait, what?
Right.
So I think Bryn is used to, honestly, it goes back to what I was saying. I really don't think Bryn has a lot of girlfriends. I really don't. I do understand that a cast was put together. I'm not under the illusion that
Right.
these are girlfriends.
Right,
But what
right.
I'm saying is, I don't think Bryn has a lot of girlfriends because she doesn't know how to navigate this. I think Bryn is just a person who dates. She goes out with her dates.
Y'all
She
see, yeah, they've seen her at parties, and they're like, "Hey, you want to be on the show? Okay, girl."
Exactly. I don't know. But I will watch the show. I'm not one of those people who are going to say, oh, I'm not watching the show.
No,
I will
girl,
be
I'm
watching
watching,
the show.
but I'm
I
like,
will
I
be
just want
watching
to
the show.
see.
But yeah. But right now, the show that is unhinged to me in the best way, I
Salt
didn't know
Lake.
it was going to be without Monica Garcia, is Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, give me. So when I tell you, I'm like, look here, Heather Gay, we do not need to hear receipts timeline. Shut up, girl. Give us something else, because the person that's going to be like unhinged and be like completely like, girl, what the hell are you doing? It's going to be Lisa and Meredith like it was first season. I'm like, girl, I'm sorry. What are y'all arguing about?
First of all, Heather, okay, that was very produced, but it was
Very.
fun. Okay,
It's so
here's the
bad.
thing. I think it was the guys from Watch What Crappens,
Oh my
Ronnie and
god,
Ben.
they're so good.
No, now because I like to cite my sources. I think it was Ronnie who said years ago from the first Salt Lake season that Real Housewives of Salt Lake is Housewives Community Theater. So
It's true. It's true.
they're all very aware of, the shows, and this is like the community theater version. And the second he said it, I could not forget it. And I've been watching the show through that lens ever since. So I don't take that seriously, minus the Jen Shaw stuff. That was serious.
Yeah.
But anyways, I say that to say, I could tell in the beginning it was produced, and it is what it is. And I know people have been saying that Angie K is a try-hard. And you know what? She is. But she's not embarrassed about it. And in a way, I love that she owns it. She says, I wanted to be on this show. I auditioned season 1, I auditioned season 2, and I didn't get it. Then I got a friend of. No, then I got to be a guest live.
Yes, yeah.
Guest at filming. Then she became a friend, and then she became a housewife. Now she sent a snowflake. Listen to me. If this other person working in corporate America or corporate anywhere you are in the world, we would be applauding this woman because every year she got a promotion. I mean, wouldn't you want to get every year at your job?
We'd be looking at your performance evaluations like, man, you just keep going.
Exactly. So Salt Lake City, Heather is, I hate to say it, she is the face of the franchise for one reason and one reason only. It's because of the Mormonism. She is a bad Mormon. She was married to Mormon royalty. She wants to be still in the church, believe it or not.
She really does. She does.
She wants to be part of the world, according to her. But I think if she had an opportunity to be back in and cool, she would take it.
She would.
Not Heather. What's her name? Meredith and Lisa Barlow
Lord have mercy.
That's just a duo, they're more like the it girls. Heather is the face. But I have to tell folks, the dynamic duo I am loving is Angie K and Mary. And I know people are going to say problematic, but we've been watching problematic housewives for years. So give the black woman the opportunity to be problematic as hell. Y'all wanted Ramona back? Let us have Mary Cosby. That is how I feel about Mary.
Okay, can I say this? Because one, folks were doing like this weird ass shit with Mary, but I didn't hear none of these bitches that was complaining about what Mary said having any problem with what Lisa said last season when her son was traveling. And it's like, damn, it's like, y'all, I didn't see none of y'all raising, like, how dare y'all talk about, like, that city? I'm like, how dare you say something so triggering? None of y'all said anything. Y'all didn't even bring it up, and it's never been addressed by Lisa, because y'all are full of shit. Y'all full of shit. It's like, y'all can see him like, girl, y'all did not care. And that is not us saying that what Mary said was not problematic, because it was. Okay. But we see through y'all, because y'all can't see, oh, I really want Ramona back. I really want Victoria back. I really want Stassi back. And then say, oh my God, get Mary off this show. Then y'all should not be asking for none of these people back.
Correct.
Period.
I recognize that Mary's problematic. But Correct. If y'all want all these people back, okay, y'all can live with Mary Cosby. And I will say, I think Mary is misunderstood to some degree. I think Mary needs to be educated as well to some degree. She's like old school.
She is a mean church lady. It is like she is that mean first lady that everybody knows about.
Yes.
So it's like we're used to that. It's like that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. You are absolutely right. You said it from the jump. She was a mean church lady.
I said it. I was like, that's a mean church lady. I'm like, oh, I've met a few Mary Cosbys.
We have, especially as black folks. Okay,
correct. I was like, girl, y'all ain't never met the mean church lady. Mind you, some of these ladies on here, I'm like, hello. In some circles, Lisa Barlow would be the mean church lady if we're being completely honest. So would Meredith. So why y'all acting like Mary is some sort of unicorn? She's not. And it's like y'all wanted to jump on. It's like, I'm gonna show how righteous I am. Really? So how come y'all ain't called Lisa out last season? Y'all still haven't, by the way.
I agree. Listen, Mary, I'm glad Mary's back. I'm glad Mary's back full time.
Same. She needed to be back because she cracked me the hell up. She's like, what?
She is so funny. And I love the Angie K duo. I am here for Mary and Angie K. It's a duo I didn't think at all I didn't
think this was going to work, because I was like, I thought she didn't like her. Oh, that's right. At the reunion, they did kind of like, oh, girls, like, oh, hey. Because, Bronwyn, keep her. I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, I get it. It's couture. It's a couture costume. But it's, it's couture. I get it, Bronwyn. That Britney lady, when she said it to Mary, I heard exactly what Mary said. I'm like, it's like, oh, yeah, because I know I was being poor. I'm sorry. I don't remember saying that I was poor.
Listen, I am sorry.
And I'm glad she clocked her on that. She's like, I was just trying to relate to you. I'm like, I'm so sick of white people. Hello, dear white people. Please do not sit here and think that you can relate to black people by saying, I'm like, oh, I understand about being black because I was poor. All black people ain't poor.
Mary was not poor.
And I was like, girl, I heard it the same way she heard it. I'm like, she didn't say she was poor. She just said it's a whole bunch of people in the house, and sometimes she didn't get stuff because there's a whole bunch of people there. Not that she was poor.
She would not. I truly feel it. I mean, look, I watched that episode twice. But I clocked it the first episode. That wasn't something I needed to watch a second time. I'm just like, excuse you?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
You would have never Bronwyn, and again, like Bronwyn said, ma'am, we need to get you a dictionary because them words, you need to find some
right, because it's like, Bronwyn's like, what you're not going to do is act like I'm the crazy one. Because Lisa, you did kind of throw her under the bus, but then was like, well, I mean, I was kind of like, Lisa, you're not as solid on defending your friend as you really think you are. Because Lisa, it did keep kind of flipping. I mean, that's just how she is. I'm like, girl, shut up. It's like, one, why you were acting like Bronwyn was just doing a monologue and not a dialogue. She was talking to all of y'all.
I have to be honest. I know it's early days, But I'm very interested in Bronwyn. I do
Same.
think she's
Same.
fashionable. She has a lot of money. She has a super rich husband. I do want to get the backstory.
Same.
And look, she's doing classic housewifery because it is classic housewives that the person who brings you on the show, you end up feuding with.
Ain't it though?
So seeing her feud with Lisa Barlow, look, I get it. It's early days, but I do agree with what you were saying. Lisa wasn't defending her as a new person
Yeah.
and as a friend. I would have been like, no, look, I don't think she meant it that way.
Like that's not what she meant. That's not like no.
Bronwyn is,
Bronwyn's cool. She's cool. That's not what she meant at all. It was not as stiff as you think it is, ma'am.
and I think Heather, let's be very clear,
Girl.
like outsiders because she doesn't want to be one-upped. She doesn't want to be
Correct.
kicked off the show. She wants to be
Because it's so easy to outshine Heather Gay. That's the problem. It is so easy to outshine her.
and that's what she's concerned about. I'm telling you, that is what she's concerned about. It's the only thing she cares about. And unfortunately, she views people as because she viewed Monica as a threat in that way. She viewed Jen as a threat, but she befriended Jen because also it was the beginning of the show.
And gave very much like battered woman syndrome. And it's so weird. Because I'm like, Heather, you can't really call anybody out when you literally lied about that woman putting her hands on you for no apparent reason, by the way.
And also, not just lied about it, but production was involved in that.
Correct. I'm like, I'm sorry, she's going to jail, so it don't really matter. Why are you sitting here lying about her getting drunk and punching you in the face and thinking we so stupid that we don't know? That's literally what happened.
I don't know.
She's an angry drunk. She's an angry She's an angry physical drunk, and that's what it seems like. Everybody got at least one that they know. So Heather, why the hell you are not going to? You cannot chastise anybody about what they say or what they do, and it's not matching up, ma'am. I'm gonna say 2 words to you: black eye. Shut up.
And the thing is, I read Heather's book. She's been giving pick me energy since
Day one.
Yeah.
She's been doing it since day one. Like this whole let me act like y'all I'm not involved in like the mix of the mess. Cause one, she did that whole thing cause one, she had no problem letting Bronwyn sit right out there on that ledge by herself. I'm like, why? Like, Heather, stop doing this. You've been doing this since season 1. You act like you're not involved in the mess, and you surely are. Girl, we see you. And I know your cousin is healing, but
Helen.
when I tell you Whitney Rose and that voice and her saying fuck you Meredith, I'm like, oh god. Like, why is she so funny why is Whitney cracking me up this season? I'm like, girl,
I'm enjoying Whitney's confessionals.
I'm loving Whitney. God, she cracking me up.
I'm enjoying her in real time and her confessionals.
Lord.
It's very unusual for me because I was never a Whitney Wildrose fan. However, I am enjoying Whitney this season. Heather is doing too much. Heather is trying to produce too much. And Heather is trying to start too many feuds. And I know exactly why. It's because she was the head of the people. She
is the favorite, and she is literally now you working to be the favorite when before you weren't working to be the favorite. You just happened to be the favorite, and now you got to work to maintain it.
No, it's because she kicked out Monica and she had to show that, okay, we can do this show without Monica.
It's like, I'm sorry, y'all should have let Monica come back. I ain't even gonna hold you. You should have let Monica come back, and y'all literally we could have watched y'all for 6 episodes dragging her.
Okay, so here's an unpopular opinion. Watching the first episode, I can say, I think it's a good idea Monica did not come back.
I mean, that's true. I agree with that too.
I hate to admit it, but now that I've seen the first episode, I'm like, yeah, no, it's a good thing Monica isn't back. I think Monica can come back in 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think that
2 of them, the housewives, need to leave. One being Lisa and the other one being either Whitney or Heather. 2 people got to leave from the original cast for her to come back. And then she come back. It sounds like, shout out to Stephen King. Sometimes they come back. Yeah, it sounds like that. Somebody leave, like you leave, then that means somebody else can come.
True. I'll tell you this right now. I'm okay with Meredith at this point leaving because I'm not getting storyline from her.
I want to know what the hell happened between her and Mary because I'm like, I'm sorry, what is happening here?
Yes. would love to know. I would love to know.
Same.
I find it interesting. Whitney had said, I think in a clip, she's loving this new version of Mary. I love
Mm-hmm.
seeing Mary with Angie Kay. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mary's going to get on with Bronwyn, not for anything else but the fashions,
Mm-hmm.
because they see each other. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? Mary might actually have a solid crew with her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be the other side, which are going to be, the pretenders, which is the Meredith, and Lisa Barlow.
Can you imagine? That's so crazy. Because it's like their show is too young to do the whole we got to turn the page thing. But the show that is not too young to turn the page thing is our last show we're going to talk about, which is Potomac.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about Potomac real quick. Okay, I watched the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's solid. I think it's a solid episode,
Really
and
solid.
shockingly,
Mm-hmm.
because let me just put it out there, y'all know Stephanie was a part-time employee with the Green-Eyed Bandits.
I was in the Dixon district. That's where I live. I was on the
Right.
contract. My watch ended, y'all.
Dixon District part-time employee.
Yeah.
I did not see it for any of the Green-Eyed Bandits.
Nope.
I did not like
She did
Giselle.
not.
I did not like Robin.
Nope.
I don't like Ashley, who I think is an honorary member.
She is.
However, this first episode is proving that Giselle got the memo that if she doesn't pull this together, the cord is being plugged.
Told you.
Being
I
pulled.
said it at the reunion. I was like, Giselle, y'all asked her to work. Bad idea. Y'all asked her to work. And now
Yeah.
she working.
She is. I'm Candy Gal. Okay. I'm Team Candice. I love Candy Gal. I
Yes,
love
sir.
seeing
Candy canes here. We candy canes.
Yes, I love seeing Black generational wealth, because what Giselle, I felt, is forgetting, that's her daughters, because she's raising them a certain type of way. They have certain privileges.
Yeah.
That is what Candice
I mean, her
is.
dad
in
was
real
like
time.
like civil rights royalty to a certain extent, but not affluent.
No,
If that makes
no,
sense.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
So for me, I was always Team Candice. I love Candice. I think Karen always understood the assignment. I think Giselle forgot the assignment.
She did.
But this episode, Giselle is back in full form. Giselle is working. So let me do a quick rundown on the Potomac cast. Let me pull it up real
All
quick.
right. Lay it on me,
First of all,
girl.
Let's do it. RHOP cast. Let's start with Karen Huger.
Girl.
I know Karen probably didn't have time to watch OC. I mean, I'm not watching OC, but I've seen all the clips, and Shannon is taking accountability with her DUI. I think there's no excuses for DUIs. And the fact that Karen is deflecting and she's trying to use the same thing with the whole tax thing and Uncle Ben and press conference, I'm like, no, girl, this is completely different. She's not taking accountability. You could see even just how defensive she was when Giselle invited her out. She was looking at Giselle sideways. I think Karen is going about this wrong, and I just don't see it going down a good path. Ashley is messy as always with buying her Uber cards, making sure it was said on camera Karen had 2 DUIs, because I didn't even remember about the first one.
I forgot about that. As soon, I was like, oh,
forgot
that's
about
right.
So there goes Ashley being messy. Ashley has no storyline. Ashley needs to go. I wanted Ashley to go over Candice, because here we are again with Ashley for a 3rd season, giving us a divorce storyline from Michael Darby, which in my opinion, she ain't divorcing Michael, but that's my opinion. Dr. Wendy started off with her degrees again. And to be honest, I like this elitist version of Wendy with, I have 5 for whatever degrees, because she kind of feels like she's better than folks and she's looking down. And I'm like, I like that energy from Wendy.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see the path Wendy goes on. I'm very interested in seeing how her and Giselle resolve things, because they've been fighting for seasons. But I do feel like, again, there's like this pick-me energy where these girls want to be Giselle's friends. So I'm going to give Wendy grace. We really didn't get much from Wendy, except she's resigning from her job. Get her doing that. She's finding herself. you know, most Nigerians, I'm not Nigerian, but I'm from an immigrant background. They really push education. They don't care about anything else. So it's interesting to see Wendy pursue her own path, but it's going to be interesting to see her friendship with Giselle. Mia is still lying. I love Mia. I love Mia. I personally love seeing Mia with Gordon. I was a bit uncomfortable with the paternity situation.
Correct.
However, I am not going to blame Mia just because Mia wasn't the person who brought this up on camera. She brought it up on camera.
Correct.
And fair is fair. And this needs to be answered on camera. So the one thing I will give Mia credit for is that she's not resolving things when cameras are off. Mia is resolving everything on camera. So the way we will criticize and say, well, how did these people become friends? Everything happened off camera and we didn't get to see it real time. I will give Mia credit. She is putting it out there and she is resolving it in real time. Is it messy? Yes. Is it possibly going to cause harm to her children in the future? Also, yes. But if we are asking reality TV stars to put it all out there and we're criticizing the ones who aren't, you can't criticize Mia for that. Correct. So I'm very curious about Mia. I found it very interesting that Karen Giselle tag team on Mia. And I'm going to tell you all right now, I said it. It's because they see Mia as a threat. Love or hate Mia, I do believe Mia is the future of Potomac. So Karen can say she's not Potomac, but Mia can carry the show. And I think it bothers them. So instead of saying, oh, she's being open and honest, open and transparent, just be honest, they're instead attacking Mia. I said what I said. I talked about Karen. I said Giselle is working. I miss Candice. I actually can't believe I'm saying this. And the last thing I'm going to say, Robin. I actually would have loved Robin to be a friend of popping in this party and this episode for one reason and one reason only. I'm not a Green Eyed Bandit fan. I don't even rep the Dixon District, but I'm going to rep the Dixon District today in this moment because Karen has been riding Robin about one and not being open and honest and talking about things on camera, even when one had legal stuff that he couldn't talk about, she couldn't talk about, and it was complicated. And they gave Robin shit. I would have loved Robin to have a moment at that table when Karen is like, I want to see who's going to be a soldier, who's going to be a da-da-da. I wish Robin was there to not be a soldier and call Karen out on her ish. I really do. In that moment, I wish Robin was a friend of. I really, really do. The new girl, I think Karen and her are going to have a falling out because I think she also gives Future of Potomac vibes. The one who used to work at QVC. What's her name?
Stacey Roush.
Yeah. QVC lady. I was just like, this is interesting. And I don't remember who the other new person was, but yeah.
So, okay, let me take a sip. So the first thing, Sharice Jackson, no longer Jordan, is the Grand Dame of Potomac. She has always been the Grand Dame of Nicole. She is the nucleus of Potomac. Now, Sharice Jackson Jordan was friends, is friends. They fell out, and I think they're good now. Allegedly, was Paul Wharton. If you remember Real Housewives of DC, he was friends with Mary on Real Housewives of DC, but he is in those Potomac streets. He also was on MTV's Made back in the day. Y'all can Google that. I'm showing my damn age. Now, the reason that Karen is on Potomac is not because of Sharice, it's because of Paul Wharton. Also, Paul Wharton used to have a podcast, and he had it for a little while, and for a little while, his co-host was Stacey Roush. So that's why I knew exactly. I was like, hey, that's the lady he used to do the podcast with. Very beautiful lady. She had a hot. So the man that was pixelated, oh yeah, she used to have pictures of him because she showed her cute little babies. The little girl so cute, and her very white husband was very, very fine. So it's like I knew exactly who Stacey Roush was, and I'm like, I was like, yeah. I'm like, so I knew who Stacy was. I'm like, let me see how she gonna be, because she was very sweet and very kind, and she seemed just like very, very nice. So I was like, oh, I'm like, let me see how she gonna get there. I'm like, oh, she already in the mix. I'm all ready for her. So I already knew who Stacy was. And the thing about it is, this whole thing with the Grand Dame and her DUI, now people gave Shannon shit. Her castmates gave her shit. Her castmates called her drunk. I did not watch y'all. They, for Karen, did something different. None of them called her a drunk, even though the person that called her drunk was Robin. Because she's like, girl, she used to call me up drunk, and Karen drink a lot, and her lips get loose when she drink. So when Witchcom said that at the table, you know who also said this years ago? Robin. Robin Ben said that. Robin like, Karen liked to drink, and then her lips get loose. It's like, yeah, she did. So yeah, I would have loved for both Sharice and Robin to be at this fucking dinner or lunch to literally hand Karen her ass. Because they both deserve it, because Karen came after both of them. So both of them, I agree, should have been at this daggone lunch that Giselle has planned. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. I've been saying this for years. Stop thinking that Karen and Giselle are not very much alike. They very much are.
They are.
And notice, two sides of the same damn coin. I have always said that. I'm like, y'all think they are different. No, the hell they not. Karen tries to make it seem like they different. No, the hell they're not. Because one, I watched Karen do, I knew exactly what she was going to do. She was going to do that whole press conference, water and salty nuts, and not answer no questions about a DU fucking I. And you notice, nobody called that bitch a drunk, which they coulda. And they shoulda. And it's like, but also, actually, no, I'm gonna change that. No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be calling nobody that gets a DWI a drunk. Because that just means they just made a mistake. You can drink as much, you could literally guzzle every ounce of brown liquor in your cabinet. Just do not get into a fucking car and drive. Or, ma'am, you allegedly had a driver. Your driver should have came and got you. Or Ray could have came and got you. I'm sorry, he's retired. He ain't got to get up and go to work. He could have came and got your ass. It's like, why? And all of a sudden you're saying you have issues in your marriage. The institution, Karen. The institution that you said you was in when Ashley was like, Ray said he wanted to go to Florida and leave you, and you said, my marriage is an institution. There's troubles in the institution, Karen. A girl, fuck you. It's like, we're not going to do this today. So of course she's going to deflect. It's like, ma'am, I'm not going to talk about my situation, but you're going to bring up Mia's. And dear Gordon, this is all your fault. Mm-hmm. This is all your fault. You brought this up to embarrass Mia, and I love Mia, the Lulu housewife. She did not fumble. She picked up that ball and took it into the end zone and has a touchdown, because now she can play. You brought this up. She did not. Do you think she would have brought ink on and let y'all explain and then lied about some of this stuff? However, now we're talking about paternity because of you. This is your fault. And now, old man, you gonna sit there in that same building that you living with Mia and sit there and take it. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Ink will take that boy to every damn barber appointment. Take him. I don't care. You're not going to do this. You can't literally be like verbally abusive to her and then get mad when she like crack her neck and go, how about you hit me on this side this time? She's not doing this with you. So it's like, yeah, being delusional, Mia is better at it than you. Giselle is going to work this season because now, I think what it was, and I know people are like saying, oh, now she can get along with Wendy because Robin ain't there. I'm like, yeah, here's the thing. Robin ain't the reason why her and Wendy weren't cool. They were the reasons why they weren't cool. And there was no third party saying, oh, come on, Wendy is cool, don't do this. Kind of like you did, Giselle, with Robin and Ashley. You are the reason why Ashley and Robin are cool, because let's be very clear. Robin was 2 steps away from beating that bitch's ass, and she shoulda. She literally was going to mop that kangaroo meat restaurant with her brains. You are the reason why they're cool. Giselle didn't have that when it comes to Wendy. So that's why this wasn't Robin's issue, and it wasn't Robin's fault. So guess what? Nobody, like, now it's like, oh, Robin's out of the way. Robin wasn't the reason why they weren't cool. It was Giselle and getting her stick out her ass, and now she realized, oh, Robin not here. Oh, girl, I gotta work. Yep. That means you have to work and get along with. That means you need as much camera time as possible, and that means fixing shit. Now I sound like Carlos King. Fixing shit with people on screen. That's why you're fixing this shit with Wendy. It has nothing to do with Robin not being there. It's that you're realizing, somebody probably tapped you like, girl, if you want to keep your check, keep it cool and keep it frenemy with Karen, but fix it with Wendy.
I agree. And I think also with fans seeing how New Jersey has played out. I mean, and that was a golden franchise. So yeah, people working.
It's like, girl, Giselle gonna have to work. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this first episode is gonna sound so weird because I know a lot of people feel a way about the first season, but this is first season Giselle. This really is. This is how she worked first season, because first season, even though Charisse was the nucleus, she's the Grand Dame of Potomac, Giselle was the one that everybody knew because of Jamal Bryant. Everybody knew who the fuck she was. It's like, wait a minute, Jamal Bryant's ex-wife is on this show? Oh, girl, we in. Because that's the person that everybody knew was her. They didn't know who the fuck everybody else was. They knew Jamal Bryant's ex-wife, the one he dicked over and was fucking around with. He got like 2 or 3 girls, different pregnant, allegedly. And it was like, yeah, First Lady, she on this show. We're watching. So she had to work a little bit.
That is true.
That's what.
So it's going to be very interesting for me seeing Giselle navigate these friendships. Again, for me, I'm very invested in.
We don't care about them closes. I'm like, girl, we don't hear about you and these. Okay, can I say this about? I'm sorry to cut you off. Can I say this about Ashley?
Please.
I need y'all that are Forehead fans to hear me real close. For about 3 or 4 years, that Forehead was bobbing along in everybody's business and wanting everybody to be transparent and vocal and be truthful. If they were lying, she'd call their asses out. You have literally been lying to us for 3 or 4 different seasons, saying you getting divorced from that man, when essentially you and that man, you and Mickey Darby decided, hey, we're going to cook up this scheme that Todd brought to Candy with the bullshit to get him the fuck off this. We're going to say we're getting divorced. So that way, Michael don't got to be on screen. It makes sense if he's not on screen. If they're getting divorced, of course he's not going to be on screen. So yeah, go get a second apartment. Yeah, I said what the fuck I said. I said this is a scheme and she is lying. And this is a scheme that Todd cooked up to bring the Candy with the bullshit. I don't believe you. And now everybody's saying it. She's been saying this for 3-4 years. Anybody else, she'd have called them out so quick. Because your damn sure was in Robin's business, you're in Charisse's business, you're in Karen's business, you're in Giselle's business, you are in Monique's business, Candace's business. You're every single person that's ever been on this show, you've been in their business. But you tight-lipped about yours. I know you fucking lying right now. It's like the fact that one, Candace is gone because that's the person that would have called her out. Katie would have called you out by now. To a certain extent, Monique probably would have too. Statute of limitations are over with that daggone filming with that camera. So yeah, she would have let you go too.
Honestly, I don't get why they love Ashley and why they're hanging on to Ashley outside the fact that she does whatever they say, because we've gotten nothing from Ashley for the past 4 seasons. And I do agree with that theory because I don't believe they're getting divorced. I really, really, really don't.
It don't take that long, girl. Stop playing with me.
I think she feels it's in her best interest to still stay married to Michael. I truly believe that. That's my conspiracy theory. But
because I mean, it really is. That really is. I'm like, no, girl. I'm like, he pays for your whole life. Okay. I get it. If I'm a kept woman, I'm being kept. I'm like, I'm sorry, I will remain kept, but y'all gonna stop playing with me in that forehead. And the thing about it is, like, y'all didn't like that one. Candace kept calling her ass out because one, she deserved to get called out because, hey, hi, wasn't that Ashley doing that to Robin and Karen and Monique and Katie and Sharice for years, and the minute that it comes back to her, it's like, oh my God, y'all being mean to Ashley. The fuck out of here. Out of here. We're not doing this today. Because the one that should have beat her ass by now was actually Robin. But now you sitting here allegedly getting divorced. Oh, girl, shut up. Oh, girl, shut up.
Please.
You are not. And so we didn't get Kiana. Now, Kiana is supposed to be full-time, but allegedly at the last minute, she was bumped up to full-time. So that's why we did not see her in the premiere. Allegedly. Does like, she's full-time? Like, I'm like, wait, didn't they say she's full-time? Like, they didn't bump her up till like towards the end of filming, allegedly. Let's see if she's, like, I didn't see a, and I wish they would stop doing this, where you didn't see the taglines in the intro. Right. And so I'm like, yeah, let's see if she's in the intro in the next week. I can't wait to see Stacey Roush in. She's like, girl, what the hell are y'all doing? It's like,
I'm interested to see her and Mia. I'm interested in seeing her and Mia because I saw like the clip where she's breaking it to Mia, basically saying, Karen saying like, it's, you know, Mia's not Potomac.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Because that's like Karen says that slick shit, because one, Karen also said it about Ashley. Excuse me, she didn't want her child around her daughter around Ashley, because basically she was trying to like basically label her a whore and a poor example of a woman. She didn't want Ashley around her daughter. She didn't like Wendy. She didn't think Wendy was Potomac either. So stop playing. I'm like, y'all think the granddaughter, she don't like these bitches.
No, she does not.
She don't like this, and she swore up and down we would figure out, like, see, once y'all see this, you'll see why me and Sharice don't like each other. Karen, girl.
So here's a funny thing. I saw Karen on Watch What Happens Live, and I think Andy had asked her, like, who else, like, what other Bravo level wife or whatever she's friends with, or who she likes or whatever, and that's not on her show, obviously. And she struggled. She
saw it, right?
Had no answer. Then she just said, like, oh, I had fun with Dorinda. We were at somewhere together. And I'm like, yeah, because honestly, just be real. You don't like these people.
This is work for her. This is work. She's at work. So.
But hey, I am going to go on record. And the last thing I'm going to say is, I know I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. When Karen had that party with her and Ray, I said that should have been the last episode, and Karen should let Ray retire in Florida and go. I think it was the vow renewal or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it has come full circle. This is a perfect time.
That could have been the closing of the page for Karen. It really could have.
It would have been a perfect time for her to walk away. Right. And look, as a person who read Dave Quinn's book, Not All Diamonds and Rosé, I'm also going to throw in here and say, housewives don't know when to pack it up and leave. They really don't. It's like they don't know when to go. And the last thing you want to do is be the person who's still there after the music is off.
Girl, you don't want to be there when the lights come up. I think
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I think a couple of people who probably figured out I might want to leave is Candy from Atlanta, Caroline from Jersey, even though this seems very weird, Vanderpump from Beverly Hills, Gina Keogh from OC. There's a lot of people who don't understand, like, girl, I am out. I am not doing this no more. Because Candy was the one that I'm like, girl, yes, please leave. Stop. Don't leave while people are like, girl, this show is trash. Get out. She was like, y'all not going to keep dangling me. Like, wait, girl, I got a tour. I got shows on Broadway. I got food that is meaty. I'm going to shut up. But she got shit to do. And I got a husband that I fuck at least 4 times a week. I ain't got time for y'all. She left. Listen. I don't blame her. Because it was like, I'm out.
I actually appreciated Candy making that move. And I do understand what it feels like when you're waiting on a job, you're waiting on a contract. Again, I trust me, I understand this. It hits home in my own personal life. And you know it normally comes at the same time, and then this time it's delayed. And it's delayed. And what happens is when you're like a Candy, well, Candy's a Taurus, I'm a Capricorn, but we're busy working people.
Honey.
what happens is when you're doing the thing and you're waiting, you're like, oh, I always wanted to do this, and you start doing something else, and then you add this, and then you remember, oh yeah, I always wanted to do that. And I truly
Mm-hmm.
believe
Mm-hmm.
Candy would have come back because it's just a normal, regular rotation. It's a good
Yeah.
check, and da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
But they took too long. And then she was
Correct.
just like, screw it. And she decided not to come. And in a way, I often say sometimes things are blessings in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes when you get rejection, which Candy didn't get, but I often say rejection is sometimes redirection.
Yeah.
And then sometimes saying goodbye to something or closing a chapter when it's a good thing, even though it's a good consistent check, and you
Mm-hmm.
leave on good terms. Let's be very clear. She left on good terms.
Yep.
It's sometimes better for you. Make people miss you. Make yourself open up to new things, and not saying you can't come back. But
Yeah.
then who knows, you might come back around. And I'm glad in a weird way because I love Candy. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad she wasn't there for that train wreck of a thing with Kenya, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
because Kenya and the whole what's her face and Kenya not coming back,
Yeah.
Portia and the whole whatever with her and Simon, and
Mm-hmm.
Phaedra coming back as a Hail Mary. I'm just
Girl.
like, so I appreciate Candy
Mm-hmm.
for stepping away. And who knows, we might see her again in a different capacity, but very
Yeah.
few housewives. Oh, Dr. Nicole Martin from
Oh,
Miami.
her too. Yes.
So
Absolutely. Because she's like,
I was like,
girl,
who else? Dr. Nicole. I mean, again, she,
that's true. I'm
Miami.
sorry I left her off. I love Dr. Nicole.
I know, I love Dr. Nicole, and Miami also was on a hiatus.
Correct.
And I do believe, and look, she did share she was going through postpartum, which I completely understand. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also going to throw in, had they come with that contract shortly right after,
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have taken it.
She probably would have.
But it's also, again, the time in between, and you
Mm-hmm.
start rethinking your priorities. And she has a young baby, and she's going through what she's going through, as she openly shared.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you know
And she
what?
is a very rich bitch, okay?
I
So
was
it's
just
like,
gonna
girl,
say
I
she
don't need
doesn't need
this.
it. She
I
doesn't
don't
need
need
the
this.
money. She
Mm-mm.
makes good money on her own. Her man makes good money. She
Mm-hmm.
is fine,
Mm-hmm.
but she decided to put herself first. And she's like, you know what? Eh.
Correct.
So
I
I
love that
like,
for her. I'm like, I love Adriana on the show, but it's like, oh, baby, I know. It's like, I wish she didn't need this Miami check because they didn't make her full time.
yeah, same thing. And you know what? I know people say Candice was fired. No, Candice left before
Candace quit.
she quit before she got. And here's the thing: I think we were cheated out of that baby storyline. See, I
Yeah.
would have traded Candice. And look, yes, I'm a Candice fan, so I am partial to Candice. But do you all want another Ashley divorcing Michael Darby,
Mm-mm.
or
Mm-mm.
actually seeing Candice as a new mom?
Correct.
Just saying.
I am a candy coated La Robin, okay? So I wanted both of them back. I did. Because I'm like, I enjoyed Candace. And I'm like, yeah, Candace is time enough, but I need, see, I'm like, we're losing Candace and I'm not liking it. We're losing Robin. I'm not liking it because I'm like, Candace, like Robin could have been friend of. I'm not even going to hold you. But let's see what happens with Kiana because she time enough for her ass too. Because I saw her at the reunion with Ashley. I'm like, oh, she gonna light her ass up. And I can't wait.
I know. But Potomac is very interesting. I'm very
It's gonna
curious
be
to see where
interesting.
it's going. Salt Lake is a community theater, so I'll keep watching. And honestly, Mia is the biggest draw for Potomac.
She
And
really is.
so I'm sorry. I do feel
It's nuts
Karen
to
and
me.
Giselle see her as a threat.
They do.
Karen and Giselle are the biggest frenemies in Housewives history. They're very
Shit.
important to the show. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
deny that. But
Mm-hmm.
they see Mia as a threat. Mia is the reason why I know I will be t tuning in.
Uh-huh.
Salt Lake is a community theater, so I will watch that. And New York, I'm just watching for watching's
That's
sake.
off. That's off Broadway. Broadway. It's off Broadway
Yeah,
theater, honey.
I'm telling you. True. It's off Broadway
It's
theater where
off
everyone's been.
Broadway. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. The thing about it is like, Mia, you got into a physical fight with Wendy. You can't take the Grand Dame and just like you can't take neck and DUI. You cannot take that, girl. I know you. Sit down, Mia. Sit down. Do not take this from them. Oh, bitch, shut up, girl. If you don't get, you are driving on my nerves. Sober. It's like, see, that's the thing. It's like, girl, Giselle and Karen is knocking you over. Girl, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Girl. I'm like, Mia, sit down. Don't you move. Don't you move. Who the fuck y'all think? See, that girl that you fell out with and now y'all back cool, y'all ain't back cool the way I think, because I'd have told them bitches to shut the fuck up so quick. Karen, you don't have a Robin. And that's why you hated Robin. Because Giselle had a Robin and you never had a friend on there because them bitches are your coworkers and none of these bitches your friends. You didn't like, that's why you wanted Robin gone, because it's like, okay, if I get rid of him, like, Giselle ain't gonna have no friends. Ashley's and her forehead is still there. But y'all, woo, when I tell you, we have gone hours. Let me tell y'all something. Victoria and I have gone hours talking about just one show. So you can imagine us talking about more than one show. And we're just talking because we're friends. We are not even talking about content. We are literally just talking on the phone. Girl, did you see? Girl. But let me tell you how I feel.
I'm going to have to come back because these shows are an absolute mess.
You are. Because I'm like, it's 4 at one time. Lord have mercy. But before we get out of here, Victoria, thank you. I appreciate it. Because this really was about Salem's Lot. And we literally like, girl, it's sketchy, but watch it. That's literally our review. It's sketchy. It's got holes, but girl, watch it because it's cute. See,
it is cute. Work?
It's like a Shein dress. You see a cute one, I'm like, oh, this works for my outfit. See, wear it because it's cute. See, it's not Temu, it's Shein. Okay, I'm saying that because I heard Temu be allegedly scamming the people. And people be like, look, I got my stuff stolen. I'm like, girl, what the heck? What, girl? I was like, I still haven't done it yet. I refuse. I'll buy from the TikTok shop before you go to Temu. Oops. Sorry. Anyway, Victoria, please tell everybody how they can follow you. Get these lists. Get these recommendations for books. Get these, like, list top things, like top 10 Stephen King. And I would love, let me know if you're ever going to talk about Charlene Harris.
Oh, yes. So
I read all of those books. I love them, which is why the True Blood show, I have complicated relationship with it, honestly. The way it ended, I'm fucking mad about.
It is complicated. I will be doing a list, but everyone, you can find me at bibliolifestyle.com. I'm Bibliolifestyle across all social media channels. And if you want to find the Stephen King, just put Bibliolifestyle Stephen King, and you'll see all my Stephen King content from all his books in order to the 8 I'm recommending that you must read. I'm also on YouTube now, so check out YouTube Bibliolifestyle. I have a video on the 10 things. Yes, I'm new to the YouTube family. I'm sharing 10 things over there that are different from the Salem's Lot movie and the book, so you can watch that video. It's like 10 minutes. And I also share just an overall review of the movie, the good stuff, the bad stuff, and missed opportunities. But we chatted about most of that here as well. And yeah, I'm really excited to come back to talk another show and also Housewives.
Yes, I cannot wait. Victoria will be back, and I will have to say thank you, Victoria, for being the first guest since my hiatus since July, because I had mixing with Monty, because Monty's my girl. She is my favorite Nelly girl, but she is also one of my favorite Bravo girls. She is the Bravo godmother. I said it. So thank you for this. I am just very I'm so excited, and I appreciate you, y'all. This has been a Mocha podcast. I will be back. We're getting closer and closer to Cookamus Maximus, aka Cook from the Highly Inappropriate Podcast, coming back, because we have voting stuff to discuss. We have hippity hop stuff to discuss. Yeah, we have a lot to unpack, because y'all been y'alling, okay? Because okay, let me shut up. Okay, but with this, y'all, I will be back. Thank you for listening. Bye.